You look lonely. Let me fix that.
Japan is a nation that's renowned for a lot of things. A leader in emerging technologies, its rich heritage and culture, bustling metropolitan cities, and even anime. But beyond the surface, Japanese citizens are quietly suffering and battling a growing crisis: loneliness. Now, you might think to yourself, what exactly does this mean? And how does one suffer from loneliness? In recent years, Japan has witnessed a disturbing trend: an increase in the amount of individuals living alone and reporting feelings of isolation. A silent epidemic, as it is. According to the Ministry of Health, about 15% of all Japanese citizens reported feeling lonely in 2020. This might seem like a small percentage, but in a nation of over 125 million people, it translates to millions suffering in silence. To understand why this is, we need to firstly take a step back and contextualize the type of society Japanese citizens are suffering in. In the past few decades, Japan has experienced a dramatic demographic shift, characterized by an aging population and a declining birth rate. The fertility rate continues to remain well below the replacement level, and the elderly population, those that consist of 65 years and older, now account for up to nearly 30% of the total population. This demographic imbalance has led to a growing number of single-person households, particularly among the elderly, who often find themselves increasingly feeling isolated from their family and community. One of the most tragic manifestations of this loneliness epidemic is korokushi, or simply translated, lonely death. Each year, thousands of elderly individuals pass away unnoticed, unbothered, and unseen, with their bodies only being discovered days or even weeks later. This grim reality highlights the depth of isolation faced by Japan's aging population, where traditional family structures have weakened, leaving many elderly without a support network from the people around them. For these elderly individuals, they will often suffer in silence. In Japan, there is a societal expectation and strong emphasis on maintaining harmony and avoiding burdening others with personal problems. This culture of silence discourages elderly individuals from seeking help or even expressing feelings of loneliness, perpetuating a cycle of isolation as they sadly pass on to death. Let me introduce you to Mr. Ueda. Mr. Ueda from the Ibasho Project in Japan is an 82-year-old man residing in the bustling city of Osaka. He finds himself increasingly isolated in his later years. Once surrounded by the vibrant noise and chatter of a bustling family home, Mr. Ueda now spends his days in the quiet solitude of his small apartment. For Mr. Ueda, retirement was meant to be a time of relaxation and enjoyment, a chance to spend quality time with his loved ones and pursue the hobbies he once loved. However, as the years passed, his social circle slowly began to shrink. Friends he once met regularly for tea or a game of checkers gradually faded away. Some moving closer to be with their families, others taken by the inevitable passage of time. The greatest blow came a few years ago when his beloved wife, Eiko, passed away after a long battle with illness. Eiko had been his partner for over 5 decades, his confidant, and the anchor of his life. And with her absence, there was a large void for Mr. Ueda to fill. Their home, once filled with laughter and conversation, felt unbearably silent. Adding to his loneliness, Mr. Ueda's 2 children, whom he adores, had to move to different cities for work. They obviously visit when they can, bringing the joy and the energy of youth, but the visits are all too infrequent. Mr. Ueda cherishes the moments he spends with his grandchildren, their laughter echoing through the halls. But as soon as they leave, the quiet creeps back in, more profound than before. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic did not help Mr. Ueda's cause. Restrictions and health concerns meant he could no longer visit friends or participate in the community activities that once brought him so much joy. The pandemic stripped away the small pleasures of daily life, and with each passing day, Mr. Ueda's loneliness deepened. He found solace in simple routines, tending to a small garden on his balcony, feeding the birds, and poring over photo albums that captured happier times. Yet, as he sat by the window, watching the world move on without him, he couldn't help but feel forgotten. A ghost in the city he once called home. Now, the terrible thing about Mr. Ueda's story is that it's not uncommon, and instead reflects a broader trend of isolation for many elderly Japanese as they approach their end of life. As the country faces an aging population, countless senior citizens are left to navigate their final years of life in solitude. It's terrible, it's sad, and it shouldn't be this way. While Japan's loneliness crisis is often associated with the elderly, it's crucial to recognize that the younger generation is increasingly affected by this silent epidemic. With societal pressures, technological changes, and shifting cultural norms, many young people in Japan have now found themselves grappling with feelings of isolation and disconnection. For many young people, the pressure to succeed academically and professionally is immense. From a young age, students are taught and expected to excel in school, often attending rigorous cram exams known as juku to secure a spot in prestigious universities. And so it's not uncommon to see high school students studying up to 12 hours a day in Japan's exhausting education system. This intense focus on academic achievement can leave little time for socializing and building meaningful relationships. However, for a lot of Japanese youth, the competition doesn't end after school. In the workplace, young professionals continue to face demanding schedules and high expectations as expected from Japanese work culture. Whilst Japan's urban centers, such as Tokyo and Osaka, are bustling hubs of activity, they are also breeding grounds for loneliness. The fast-paced, work-centric lifestyle leaves little room for personal relationships and leisure. The cultural expectation of long working hours, otherwise known as karoshi, or death from overwork, exasperates social isolation, as many individuals are pressured to prioritize work over social connections. So it's no surprise when a study conducted by the Ministry of Health, Life and Sciences in 2021 reported that over 32% of respondents felt socially isolated. Combine this with a report published by Japan's own Ministry of Health that over 22% of Japanese workers work 50 hours or more per week. And you can paint a picture of just how bad this feeling of isolation and loneliness can get for the everyday Japanese citizen. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen this, but there's viral pictures on the internet of Japanese salarymen passed out on the side of the street from exhaustion. It's become a sad reality, but for many, it's become the norm. Let's take the case of Miwako Sayano, a 34-year-old reporter for NHK, Japan's national public broadcasting organization. Miwako was a journalist covering politics and had been working long hours at NHK. It was reported that in the month leading up to her death in 2013, she had worked 159 hours of overtime and only took 2 days off. Let that sink in for a second. 159 hours of overtime in just 1 month. For the everyday employee working a 9 to 5, they're working 40 hours a week. This meant that Miwako was working an average of 80 hours every single week for a month. Let that sink in for a second. These are 10 to 12 hour days, not 5 days a week, but all 7 days in the week. So it's no surprise that the pressure and long hours led to severe mental and physical exhaustion, and unfortunately accumulated in her death from heart failure. In 2017, the Japanese authorities finally recognized her death as a case of karoshi, or death from overwork, amidst public backlash for years on end. Whilst Miwako's case drew significant media attention to the issue of overworking in Japan, and sparked debates about a possible labor reform, it's sad to say her death was no different to the thousands of other similar incidents that happened every single year in Japan. The pandemic has gotten so bad that in 2021, the Japanese government even appointed a Minister of Loneliness in an effort to combat isolation and promote social connections. How bad did it need to be for the Japanese government to formally recognize it and open up a specific department of ministry to address this issue? It's absolutely crazy. And situations like this should never get to a point where individuals are taking their own lives because of it. We know Japanese citizens are quietly suffering. But why aren't we doing anything about it? Why is it not plastered on headlines? And why is it not being addressed on popular media? To understand this, we must firstly explore Japan's stigma surrounding open communication and welfare. Japan, as a culturally rich nation, employs a deep-rooted emphasis on cultural nuances such as social harmony, collective responsibility, and maintaining face. These cultural norms have been established in Japanese culture for centuries on end to foster a sense of community and mutual respect. But in recent years, it has also discouraged individuals from seeking help or discussing personal issues. In line with maintaining social harmony, there is a cultural norm to avoid burdening others with one's problems. For many Japanese citizens, they feel compelled to present a stoic attitude, even when facing significant personal challenges. This tendency can prevent individuals from reaching out for support, perpetuating a cycle of isolation and loneliness for the everyday individual. In Japan, there's growing popularity surrounding the concept of hone and tatame. Hone refers to a person's true feelings and desires, while tatame represents the facade or social image they present to the outside world. The cultural expectation to uphold this facade of everything's good, I'm doing okay, often means that people hide their true emotions to avoid discomforting others. In Japan, there is a pervasive stigma surrounding the concept of mental health, which is often perceived as a weakness or a sign of failure. This stigma deters many individuals from openly discussing their mental health issues, including feelings of loneliness and from seeking professional help. The fear of being judged or ostracized by the people around them prevents many from taking the necessary steps to address their isolation and mental health issues. Despite progress in recent years, mental health awareness and education is still relatively limited in Japan. Many people are unaware of the resources that are available to them and may not even recognize loneliness as a legitimate issue that warrants attention and intervention. Whilst these issues have been ingrained in Japanese culture, the rise of digital communication, social media, and technology have also had a profound impact on the loneliness epidemic, shaping the way in which people connect, communicate, and experience isolation. The growth of social media platforms such as Line, Twitter, and Instagram have provided Japanese citizens with mediums to stay connected, share experiences, and maintain relationships. These platforms allow users to connect with friends and loved ones, participate in online communities, and even engage in social activities from the comfort of their own homes. For elderly individuals who are unable to engage in face-to-face interactions due to health issues and geographical constraints, these digital mediums offer a vital lifeline for social connection. However, while social media can foster new and emerging connections, they can also perpetuate superficial relationships. The nature of online interactions often lacks the depth and emotional richness of face-to-face conversations. You can see this across social mediums, but the growth of influencers presenting curated versions of their lives often leads to comparisons and feelings of inadequacy amongst peers. This superficiality can exacerbate feelings of isolation, as individuals will often struggle to form meaningful connections despite their extensive online networks. It's gotten so bad that the term hikikomori was introduced to refer to individuals, often young adults, who withdraw from social life and remain isolated within their homes for extended periods of time. This phenomenon is a growing concern in Japan, with estimates of up to 1.5 million Japanese citizens being affected by it. Technology, specifically the internet, plays a significant role in the hikikomori lifestyle. Hikikomori individuals will often turn to online communities and virtual worlds as a substitute for real-life social interactions. Whilst these virtual spaces can provide a sense of belonging and escape, they also reinforce isolation from the physical world. It's hard because these platforms are specifically designed to immerse you in the application of reality, which makes it even harder for individuals to reconnect with society. For many Japanese citizens, these platforms act as a medium to escape the harsh realities of everyday life. In Japan, where the work culture is tough and the social expectations are high, an increasing amount of individuals have started to turn to technology and popular media in order to cope with loneliness and feelings of isolation. A form of escapism, if you may. However, despite these challenges, there is still hope for Japan's younger generation. Initiatives aimed at promoting mental health awareness and reducing stigma are gaining traction. Schools and universities are implementing programs to encourage open conversations and provide safe spaces for people to express their genuine feelings. The growth of online communities and forums have also played a crucial role in alleviating loneliness. Platforms like Meetup and Couchsurfing provide the opportunity to enable individuals to connect with others who share similar interests and foster relationships, reducing the feelings of isolations Japanese citizens may feel. For the elderly, advancements in AI and robotic engineering has meant AI companions are also being developed to provide emotional support and companionship. These virtual assistants, equipped with natural language processing and machine learning capabilities, can often engage in meaningful conversations and personalized interactions. Whilst they obviously cannot replace human connections, AI companions can provide comfort and alleviate a sense of loneliness for those with limited social interactions. By sharing stories and raising awareness, we can work together to combat isolation and create a more connected world. Together, we can create a future where loneliness is not a defining aspect of Japanese culture. And for elderly individuals like Mr. Ueda, they can live out the remainder of their lives, feeling embraced and supported by the people and things that are important to them. Until next time.